Hello everyone, my name is Masha and today I'm going to teach you a couple of different ways to make your friendship bracelets into keyrings. So there are a few different ways that you can attach your strings to a keyring. I'm going to show you two options today, but there are probably more out there. So this first option involves inserting the keyring directly into the bracelet while you're making it. So I'm going to demonstrate it using an alpha pattern, and I'll leave the pattern linked in the description if you want to try this bracelet out for yourself. So I've arranged my base strings and I also have my leading string for my alpha bracelet. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I have a tutorial on how to make alpha bracelets and I'll link that in the card and in the description. I've just taped down my strings to my table. There's some string left that's out of frame. I'm going to be using that to sort of tie the ends of the bracelet at the end. But here is the string that I'm working with right now. So this is the pattern that I'm going to be using. I want to make this cute little dog. So to make sure that your bracelet is going to be upright once you're finished with it, you have to start knotting the bracelet upside down. I'm going to start knotting it upside down, going from the paws up. That way when I finish and I attach my keyring, it's going to be the right side up. So I'm not going to really go into detail of how I'm actually making the bracelet since that's not really relevant here, but here's a little clip of me actually making the bracelet. So I've done a couple of background rows and I'm now going to get into actually making the pattern. By the way, if you're wondering what yarn I'm using, this is the Idealism yarn and I have a whole video where I did an overview on this yarn as well. You can check that out later if you want. So I'll get back to you once I've actually done the pattern. So as you can see, I finished the first half of my bracelet and I've also done a couple of extra background rows. So this is the point at which I want to insert my keyring, and I've got this keyring. I just bought it on Amazon, there's nothing special about it really, and I'm going to insert it right into the bracelet. I'm basically going to weave it in. So I want to leave a couple of strings out to the side and I want to put a couple of strings through. I think I'm going to leave maybe 4 on each side and see how that works. So I've separated 4 on each side and I'm going to just put these through the keyring. Just like so. I think that is enough on each side. So basically I'm now just going to do a normal background row. Of course when I get to the keyring I'm just going to be very careful to weave in the keyring. Alright, so this is the knot that is going to secure the keyring in place. I'm just going to separate the next string. And just very carefully I'm going to extend this knot up. There we go, that doesn't look very pretty, but after we do a couple more knots it should even itself out. So I'm now going to do a row of knots in the middle and then do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so we've now reached the second side of the keyring. Again, we're just going to do a forward knot here, but just be very careful. And now I'm just going to finish the row. And there we go, the keyring is secured in the bracelet. Now we just have to do a couple extra background rows to sort of even all the rows out, and I can start making the second half of my bracelet. So I've now finished knotting, I've got to the end of the pattern. I just tied 3 little knots on each side and I've cut off the excess string. So now I can fold it in half, and that way I have the design here the right way up, and also here, since we did it upside down when it was unfolded, now once we fold it down it's going to be the right way up. Also, by the way, can we just appreciate this amazingly cute pattern? I originally saw this pattern and I thought it was really cute and I wanted to make a keyring out of it, but I didn't have a pattern for the other side. So I did a shout on my Instagram story, and Artsy Sketches K responded and made this beautiful pattern for me to use. I'll leave both of the patterns linked in the description for you if you want to try them for yourself. Thank you very much, this was amazing. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it looks really, really awesome with the dog on one side and the doggy butt on the other side. But back to the tutorial. So basically now it's folded, but of course it's not connected in any way. I'm just gonna sew it together. Now I have a needle here with some string. Just for your information, I don't know how to sew. I've never sewn really in my life before. I'm terrible at doing this, so take this part of the tutorial with a grain of salt. You should probably do a better job of sewing it than I'll be doing now. But you basically just sew it together up this side and down this side as well, just connecting the two pieces. So in the end, after many failed attempts on my part, I got my husband to do it for me, so thank you to him. But here you can see that he stitched on this side, down at the bottom as well, and on this side as well. It would be better if you find an actual thread that matches very well with the background, because for me it does sort of stand out. And also if you do a better job stitching, that would be even better, but that's the basic technique. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's really cute. I love that it's the same dog but on different sides. And yeah, the keyring moves, you can see. It's not limited in any way, it's sort of in there, and you can clip it onto whatever you want. That's one way to attach a keyring to your bracelet. Now, another way of attaching string to a keyring would be by doing the lark's head knot. And if you've seen my basic knots tutorial, you would have already seen me make a knot like this. So you can attach your strings in the order that they appear on the pattern by making this knot. So all you do is you fold your string in half, take the top loop, put it into the keyring, and then through the loop that's on the string, you put the ends of the string into that loop. And you just tighten it. There you go, that's the lark's head knot, and you've just attached two strings onto your keyring. Now this method will only work if you've got an even number of string per color. So here, since we're doing a loop, the string is doubled, so I've got two white strings now. If you only need one string in the pattern, it won't work since you're doubling the strings, unless you sort of cut it off at the very beginning. Maybe that would work. I personally don't particularly like this method because it only really works for thin bracelets, and I tend to do much thicker bracelets, because the more strings you add, obviously because of the curve of the keyring, the top of the bracelet is going to become curved. Since if you add more and more here, the top of the bracelet will follow the shape of the keyring, resulting in a curved top, and I don't particularly like that. However, I've seen other people do it, so I thought I might share this with you as well. And there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, and especially my top supporters, who are Jane, Zoe, Tia, Izzy, Mads, and Lisa. It is with their support that I'm able to run this channel. Their support really does help me in all of these things. And if you also want to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description where you can sign up and get exclusive perks for your donations. I post videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, and sometimes I also post bonus videos, so keep your eyes out for that. And I will see you next time. Bye!